All right, today I am here joined with our Challenger League Season 7 first Tekken qualifier winner, Konfidentgrog. How's it going,
Hello,
Konfidentgrog?
Thank you for having me. It's nice being here. It's nice having won the first Challenger League qualifier. Unexpected, actually. There wasn't a lot of a lot of entrants, but the quality of the entrants were super high. So I am happily surprised that I actually managed to win.
Yeah, definitely a lot of killers in that bracket. We had Safety Black, we had your fellow countryman Hwoarang.
Yeah.
You had to take on Nino in grand finals twice. But before we talk about the tournament, can you first tell people a bit more about you, who you are playing in Tekken, when you started playing, stuff like that?
Yeah, of course. My name is Konfidentgrog. I am from the central part of Sweden. I have been playing Tekken since the start of Tekken 7, so like June 2017 or something like that. Yeah, I am a devoted Hwoarang main, Hwoarang one-trick pony. And yeah, there isn't much more to it than that. I just played the game.
Well, how did you get into Tekken then? Like, how did you start?
Oh yeah, how I got into Tekken. So at my previous job, I actually worked in the one of the world's biggest gaming cafes that exists in Stockholm. And on release day, we actually got Tekken 7 for our Xboxes that we had that you could play on at the cafe. And me and some coworkers played with each other, and it was just really fun. And we had inside competition going on between us, and that just motivated me to okay, I need to actually I need to learn actual combos. I need to learn what should I do, blah blah blah. That's actually what got me into Tekken. And then the fact that we had offline locals in Stockholm at that time called Stockholm Showdown. So you're just being able to meet other Swedish players in a competitive environment, really oh, I'm having a lot of fun, not only playing the game, but also interacting with the community and just showing up for competition and this whole test your might versus each other thing.
Oh, that's great to hear. You took the road of getting in contact with fighting games through pretty much a casual environment, right?
Yeah, extremely casual.
And then
I just happen to take it a bit more serious than others, because that's usually how it goes with me and some video games, is that someone can be like, oh, we're gonna play this really casually, and I'll be like, oh, this game is fun, let me dedicate 90 hours a week to it.
So long story short, after a week your colleagues didn't want to play you anymore. So
yeah, pretty much.
Okay, yeah, that's it's the usual story when you're too good to play with your friends, but you're kind of too bad to place high in tournaments. You're in this middle ground where you're kind of decent, but you're not good. So
yeah, definitely. I went. It was actually at the Stockholm Showdown tournaments I mentioned earlier. There was actually a joke that every tournament, I would get one more win each time. So I think the first 3 tournaments or so I went 0-2, then I went 1-2, then I went 2-2, then 3-2. And so the joke was just like, oh, for every tournament, I just get one more win. So eventually I'm going to win a tournament.
Yeah, I mean, if it continues like that, I mean, you won the first qualifier. So next step, I guess, for maybe Tekken 8 is going to be winning Tekken World Tour. Because, well, you're winning the online tournaments now. So next you're going to win the offline major, however you're going to qualify. And then you're going to, well, I guess you have to fail first, right? You got to fail first in 2024. And then you win 2025. So that's how it's going to go.
Yeah, exactly. We need that grace period. I can't be allowed to soar too high just yet.
So just one question regarding the locals. Do they still exist? Is it still a thing?
Not Stockholm Showdown, but they do have two kinds of locals in Stockholm right now, actually. They have the Spacing, which is organized by Flower, a well-known Swedish League player. And then we also have events run by Light Dash, which is a fighting game community in Stockholm, which makes tournaments like once a month for like Guilty Gear, Street Fighter, and Tekken.
Oh, that's nice. A lot of activity in Stockholm then. How many players do you have around?
The Spacing events, like, it's I wouldn't say it's irregular of them to get like 20 plus entrants. Like, I think the max has been like somewhere like 40 or something. So like there are people like who shows up and actually like comes to play. So it's really fun. Like even this late in the game's lifespan, like I can watch like these like tournaments in Stockholm and be like, I have literally never heard of this player before. I have no idea who they are, and that's really fun. And it's a good sign of what's to come for Tekken 8.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I mean, 40 guys, if it's like 20 to 40 guys, that's a really good number, because that's pretty much a snowballing number, like, or at least a number of players that can snowball into like bigger things or like maybe bigger events, right? So it's a good starting ground. It's really nice to hear that you have such a good active community over there. Do you have any rival in Sweden or like in Stockholm?
The only one I could really like consider my rival, it's like a back and forth between us, is a Swedish law player called Sly. Yeah, we played versus each other for a long time. Like since like 2018, we've been running into each other in bracket. And while he's mostly had the upper hand, it's been a bit more equal lately. So it's been a tough but fun like back and forth between us, and we both hate losing to each other, and so it's like it's good fun. But in the end, like if it's an international tournament, like there's nothing more I want. Like when it comes to it, I want to destroy my fellow countrymen. I have to show them who's the alpha.
Damn, I didn't expect that. I thought like, oh, when it's international tournaments, then I start rooting for them and be like,
yeah. I mean, if they're in another pool, I'll root for them. Like they're still my boys. But if they're up against me, I'm gonna have to punch them into the ground.
Put your fist down.
Yeah, exactly.
Show them who's boss. And talking about showing people who's the boss, we can just have a quick talk about your tournament run on Monday. So you had to go through the Spanish Oracle, not the French one. Dark
the Spanish Oracle Shaheen player. I don't have a lot of experience versus Shaheen. And Oracle is just a super solid player. Like he's consistent both offline and online. So I was like, is this really gonna be my first game of the tournament? But somehow I managed to actually pull out the win. It was really it was a typical RNG that I have in online tournament where the first match is on an random select infinite, and I'm like, oh no, this is not good. But I managed to squeeze out the win versus him, and then he just ran it back, and he just destroyed me. I think it was like 3-0, 3-1. Very dominant like adaptation from his side. But on my stage pick, I just brought it back to one of the best stages for Hwoarang, in my opinion, Vermilion Gates, and I just did the Hwoarang things, you know, like I did some down 3-4s, I did some sidestep 4s, I did some just frame skyrockets, and yeah, I managed to win versus him, which was actually like I wouldn't like put it in like, oh, it's like I never saw this coming, but it was definitely like an uphill like battle. There's definitely more universes where he wins than I win, is what I'm gonna say about it.
Oh, it's a difficult matchup. Okay.
Yeah, he's just really strong.
You rolled the dice, and this time you came out on top.
Yeah.
So you also had to face Bode in winners final, and you also had to face Nino in grand finals. So how did you feel playing against Bode, playing Leo?
Bode and I have actually played quite a lot, and it's been very back and forth. He usually does in the way like where he plays Leo, and if you beat his Leo, he will pick Julia, which is like, as far as I know, like the standard thing that he does when he plays in tournament. But I do much better versus his Julia than his Leo. So I didn't actually expect him to swap to Julia, because he won the first game with Leo, and then I won the second game versus his Leo, and then he swapped to Julia, and I was like,
why?
Yeah, like why did you do this? And I just won like 3 rounds straight or something like that. And it's like, okay, yeah, like, because his Leo for me is a lot harder to play around, because his timings, like, I don't know what else really to call it, like, but the way he like uses moves and like how he uses them is just it just works very well versus how I play, because I tend to press a lot of highs as a response, and he likes using a lot of like, he uses down 4 2+3, he uses the full crouch sweep, he does things like that where he can like sort of like steal a turn because he knows that I'm going to press a high instead of like properly checking him with a mid. So there are stuff that I felt like, oh no, why did I get hit by that? Why didn't I play around this? But in the end, I managed to adapt well enough. I got that was actually the only time that Ducky said anything in my stream that entire day. Was he was like, just let him kill himself. That was literally the only thing he wrote, and that was when I was playing versus Bodhi. And I was like, okay, I just need to like play like I need to press less and just be like, okay, I just have to just like I had to like pace myself more and not like try to play so much by like taking turns, because you can't really do that. Like versus people who play this very fast pace kind of Tekken.
Yeah, it's always the risk of getting frame trapped at some point, or as you mentioned, just getting high crush by low moves. So yeah, can just happen. But luckily, Tekken is a game where your opponent can actually kill himself by you just blocking correctly.
Yeah.
It's not possible in every fighting game. So that's a good thing. Good backseat gaming to Ducky. You made the right call. You gave the right hint how to beat Bodhi.
Yeah.
And then in finals, you had fun. You had fun with Nino, with the bear. Well, in the end, it was the bear. But first, you got the full waifu experience.
Yeah. Nino is such a good player, and we are lucky that bears aren't better in this game than they are. That's like one of my like biggest concerns about like Tekken 8. Like, what if bears are like actually good in this game? And it's gonna be just a pain in the neck to have to play around them for real. Because right now, like, he's a super good player, but like, I'm not gonna be like, like Panda and Kuma are like, they're not the best. They have definitely to work harder than a lot of other characters have to do for to like win. But the way he plays, the way he understands the options that the opponent wants to use, especially versus me, but I feel like that's just something in general as well. He's just very on point on like where the mind games are, like at the moment in the match, and it always feels like when you play versus him, like he knows what you want to do, so you have to like sort of like break the mold of like how you want to react. But it's so hard because there's so few bear players at his level that you can actually like play versus. So it's super tough to like be mindful of your options versus the bear, and like while also adapting to his play style.
Yeah, I mean he's a good player, and he also knows how to play with the metal stack. I've seen him, do the charge up roll that has this spark effect, and people think like it's an unblockable. So they try to jump over it and they get clipped, and he's always just like looking like, oh my god, this dude doesn't know it's not an unblockable. So he just keeps doing. So he just, sometimes he just throws out this knowledge check or this really weird option that he has, and then people are like, what the hell is happening? And then the mental stack just, it's getting higher and higher. And I mean, in one match against you, he just kept staying on the ground. Like he just kept rolling, and the wake up punches, and then it's like, this dude is not getting up. What? Yeah. What am I supposed to do? It's just sometimes he starts playing really weird, like then you need to you kind of need to think, right? What am I supposed to do in that situation? So yeah, it makes him a very strong player in general, because it's people that can adjust to you and also use options that are really rarely used. Those are the most dangerous, because you can't get rid of them. If you play against a Fang player that does the same 4 moves over and over again, right? He's just flipping the coin. Is it going to be down back 3 or maybe back campo or the shoulder or something, right? Then you kind of know what's coming. But plays that.
Yeah. His base is like how like spontaneous he can be in tournament sets is like one of the scariest things about playing versus him, because as you said, like it's very hard to like feel like you have a proper read on him, because he's just so good at mixing up the options that he presents.
Yeah, but in the end, you were able to take it. You took home the first 15 points. We still have a few qualifiers to go, so of course I hope you keep joining and you keep racking up those points. But it's the last year of Tekken 7. Tekken 8 is on the horizon. It's going to drop in January. What are your plans for Tekken 7 for the last few months?
Right now, I am actually on Friday Friday the 22nd. I am leaving for Finland to participate in the last major for the Nordic the Nordic region's European Tekken Cup qualifier. So it will actually depend a lot on how well I perform at that tournament. Because if I do well, and if like I get like second, or like I win or something like that, I will probably go down to Stockholm to go attend locals to get even more points, so in hopes of qualifying for the European Tekken Cup. But if I don't do well, then that will probably be my last offline international tournament for Tekken 7, and I'm just gonna do online tournaments until Tekken 8 comes out. But as I said, like, it depends on how well I perform. So it's it's hard to be like super structured about it. I'm gonna have to wing it a bit after the Baruken. So, but it's going to be fun, like, to see what I can make happen like these last months of Tekken 7.
Yeah, is it how is your European Tekken Cup status right now, or like how does it look for the Nordics? Did you have any big majors already, or a lot of dojo events where people could rack up, or is it now the hot phase?
As far as I know, we've had one major event in Norway that the last Phoenix won. Flower got second. I think Mirio got third, and Whale got fourth, I think. So they are like the people who have like the most points right now. I'm not entirely sure how many dojo events are going on in the other Nordic countries. I talked a bit about it earlier, but these spacing events are actually European Tekken Cup affiliated, so you actually get points towards your Tekken Cup. And I know it's been weighing heavily on Flower's mind to perform well to get the points, because he really wants to qualify for the European Tekken Cup. But other than that, I haven't actually been keeping a keen eye on the leaderboard. I'm actually gonna go and do that after we're done with this interview, because I feel like I need to know where I need to be to get into the top 2.
It's gonna be really, really close, at least from my experience. I think this time there is no offline finals, so it's just the top 2 that go. So in that case, you kind of need to be up there. And I mean, if you don't have much points, then you already know, like, well, you're in it to win it. You gotta bring that trophy home for the major, else it's gonna be rough. Especially with always being a limit how many dojos you can kind of count to your total, right? So if someone plays well at the major, it's really difficult to catch up. And definitely a good thing to have a look. That said, Tekken 8 is coming in January. Did you play in the first beta?
Yes, I did. I did play in the CNT. I had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun playing the Tekken 8. We have been long overdue, I can feel, with like I really enjoy Tekken 7. Like I think I still have fun with the game. I think it's, despite its many flaws, it's a good game. But we definitely needed something new at this point. 7 years of Tekken 7 has been a bit too long, so it was really nice just trying out Tekken 8. Hwoarang's got a bunch of new stuff. It's been fun to sort of learn the character again. Like, okay, what do I need to like change? But still, things are mostly similar. So it's been a good experience for me, and from what I've seen in like the patch notes, or what you want to call them, that Bandai Namco released just a day ago from the Feng trailer, it seems like I agree with the way that they're trying to balance heat, because it was very like, if your character has good heat, then they're gonna be very good, like in Tekken 8. But for the characters who have very low impact heat, it's gonna be like it's gonna be more of a struggle for them to play what would seemingly be more of the meta in Tekken 8. Of course, this is all pre-release speculation, so take it with a grain of salt.
But I think it's a good sign, right? That at least they're already changing up things. Because sometimes, I at least from other games, I can tell you that, well, you played the beta, you played the online beta, and people were like, oh man, I really don't like this. I hope they change it. And then like 4 months later, it's the same game. So in that case, they're already changing things up. You know, heat was a bit of an issue for some characters that got like free 50-50, or that just demolished your life bar through chip. So
Hwoarang being the prime example of that, and that's why I really like the fact that they specifically mentioned, like, okay, we toned down the damage that you're doing, like the chip damage you do when you're in heat, and the fact that you no longer freeze your heat when you hit an opponent that's blocking. So you actually can't like continue like an endless amount of like pressure into chip damage, and then they eat one low, and then it deals like 30 damage from a single poke, and it's like, yeah, that's a bit rough. But yeah, it's just fun having like a new game to play with and look forward to. So I'm still just sitting and being like, oh, I'm so excited. Even after like playing the game and like getting to feel out a bit of like the new mechanics and such. It's just such a better game so far from like what I've experienced than Tekken 7, just in like presentation, the like just how the game looks overall.
Yeah, the game is really pretty, and from what I experienced and heard from other players, net players also much better within Europe. So that's also a nice thing. That was kind of like the main criticism, right? That Tekken 7 netcode is not like the best. Like you can play, but it's not.
Yeah, Tekken 7 is definitely not the pinnacle of online play. Tekken 8 is generally better in my opinion. It just, when it's good, it's good. But if it's not like the best circumstances, then it starts going downhill very fast. But hopefully that is something. I mean, that's why we had the network test. So I'm not gonna judge it too harshly on that. I just hope that it's like some of these like issues gets ironed out before release, and yeah, hopefully it will be there will be some improvements to it in the beta coming up in October. So I'm excited to try that.
Yeah, they said they will work on it. So let's see how that's going to turn out. And last question from me: we talked about Tekken 8. You're having fun with the game. What are your ambitions for Tekken 8?
Oh, it's a tough question because, like, I do want to be like a consistent like contender in not only in Tekken 8 but also like in Tekken 7. I want people to be like, oh, like if I show up to a tournament, people are gonna be like, oh, he's gonna make it far. But in the end, the biggest thing I want to like do in Tekken 8 is make sure that I can perform at a level where I am happy with myself. Like that is like the most important part. And then after that comes like placements. Like I want to place highly in tournaments. I want to be a threat to other people's tournament safety in game. And then I want it to be like just like people like having the idea of like people like cheering you on. I'm very fortunate that I have a very nice streaming community that like cheers me on and like helps me out. Huge shout outs to them for always supporting me. It means a lot to me, and they're all like super helpful and kind. So it's I just want like it's the constant like strive to self-improvement. I want to be the best, not only Tekken player, but Hwoarang player that I can be. Which also, if you're wondering who I was gonna play in Tekken 8, I'm gonna play Hwoarang. I mean, who knew?
No way! Oh my god!
I know. What a shocker! What a shock!
I'm so surprised. Your character's in the game. You love the character.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Day one, baby. Day one. Main since day one. I'm never changing.
Oh man, that's character loyalty. You love to see it. Not picking the top tier of the patch, sticking to your guns. And I think, like, from listening to you, you have the right mindset to like be a good player, right? It's about improving yourself and not just looking like I want to be first. I'm just going to do the cheapest shit I can do to just take the win, right?
It's been a long journey to get where I am right now mentally, because I've had a lot of problems with rage and gaming before. Like we're talking about, I actually had to go and seek help for it, kind of rage. So it's I'm not like I'm way better now than what I used to be, but I still have like I still put some mental hurdles in front of myself from time to time that I have to deal with, and I have to like figure out ways to like, okay, I need to change the way that my like how like my knee-jerk reaction to certain things, and just like how I perceive the game should and should not be played, because that is a way of thinking that I feel is very that it can hurt you in the long run if you let it become normalized within your own like mentality that you should play in a certain way or you should only do things in a certain way. You need to be able to keep an open mind and like see patterns and options that might not be what is like like it's not like in a vacuum, it's not a good decision, but given the circumstances and like the context of the situation, it might be a good decision, like stuff like that. So as I said, like I'm happy where I am right now, but I definitely have even like, I'm not at the end of the road just yet. It is just like getting better with Tekken, like the constant need for self-improvement and having to not only work on your skills but also like your mentality and how you approach the game and such is it's both fun, frustrating, and very tough.
Well, as long as it's fun, then that's the most important. But it sounds like you're on the right track, and it also sounds like we're going to see a lot of you from in Tekken 8 when the game is out. At least I'll already be scared. If we ever meet in tournament, I will poop my pants. Because people with that mindset, they are the most scary players. Because you meet them once, then it's like maybe it's even, and then you meet them the next time, and they just steamroll you. If you stop improving, then they just like people like you. They just steamroll you really hard next time. So definitely thumbs up for that really nice mindset. And that said, that those were all my questions. Yes. Konfidentgrog, where can people find you? How can they reach out to you?
You can find me on Twitter at Konfidentgrog, and of course on Twitch at Konfidentgrog. Confident with K, as you probably see in the little box below. But yeah, I try to stream. I try to make YouTube content. It is very irregular because of reasons I won't go into. But hopefully you'll just show up for a stream and say hi. As I said, I am very fortunate to have a very nice and caring community of players who they try to help each other as much as they can, and I'm very thankful for that.
All right, awesome. Then, guys, if you enjoyed the interview with Konfidentgrog, or you just love watching Hwoarang, give him a follow on Twitter and on Twitch, so you know when he's live. And yeah, thank you so much for your time, Konfidentgrog. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
And hopefully we will see each other again next week for the next qualifier. Until then, have a good time